I'm not a very patient guy, but when you've been given the monstrous Porsche Cayman GT4 RS, a street-legal racing car, at the start of an Easter long weekend, when your driver's license could go up in a cloud of double demerit points within 3.4 seconds, it's worth waiting it out.
Hey Siri, set the alarm for Tuesday, 7 a.m.
While we wait, you could read the full review at carsguide.com.au. Actually, don't. I mean, do, just not right now. It's almost time to drive. The 718 Cayman GT4 RS is one of the most hardcore Porsches ever to be set free on the road. Actually, it was never meant to be made. But here it is, alive and loud. This is a Frankenstein's monster of a Cayman that will destroy most 911s and even give Porsche's hero car, the 911 GT3, a fright so bad the GT3 will be left sitting on the end of its bed wondering what its purpose in life is anymore.
Now that is a great way to wake up in the morning with a 4-litre flat 6 engine spooning you and screaming in your ear. And it really is spooning me. Being a Cayman, the engine is mid-mounted. It's actually right here. There are no back seats. It's all engine. But it's not an ordinary engine. No. Normally Caymans have turbo flat 4s, or if it's the GT4, they have the 4-litre flat 6, but not this engine. This 4-litre flat 6 is the screaming, beating heart taken out of the 911 GT3 Cup car, a race car. That's right, they have taken one of their most monstrous engines and put it in their littlest cars, the Cayman. Oh my God. We're talking 500 horsepower, 0 to 100 in 3.4 seconds onto a top speed of 315 kilometers an hour. That's faster than the 911 GT3. Ah, yeah. All that horsepower is going to the rear wheels through a 7-speed dual clutch automatic. It's a PDK, as Porsche call it. Unfortunately, there isn't a manual gearbox. I know, it would be awesome, but there isn't. Instead, they're still awesome in this, one of the fastest changing dual clutch automatics in the business. So how did the 718 Cayman GT4 RS ever come about? It's a good story.
The story goes that the head of Porsche's R&D, Wolfgang Hartz, told his engineers one day how cool it would be if they could take the racing engine from a GT3 and shove it into a Cayman. Biggest engine meets the smallest car. That's what dreams are made of, right? Well, the engineers loved it because, of course, they did. But after nights of cutting and welding, Hartz walked in and just told them to down the tools. It was too hard. It couldn't be done.
Now, Hartz didn't know it, but his engineers were actually secretly working on that Cayman after hours, after they finished all their regular work. And when it came time for Hartz's birthday, they'd finished it and they hid it in his garage. So they're all out the back having a nice little drink, and all of a sudden, he hears it start up. He turns around and he asks, "What's that?" They roll up the roller door, and there it is. The Cayman with the GT3 engine, the Franken Cayman. And that car went on to be developed into this, the 718 Cayman GT4 RS. And it truly is a monster.
The GT4 RS really is a Franken Cayman, and that's not just because of the race car engine. The GT4 RS is also redesigned for monster performance. For starters, the GT4 RS is 30mm lower and 35 kilograms lighter. Downforce has been increased by 25% thanks to that enormous fixed carbon fibre rear wing with its swan neck attachments and the front diffuser. The carbon fibre bonnet has these knacker ducts which funnel air all the way down to the brakes, which are the size of family pizzas. Look at them. That's 408 millimetres in diameter. The same cast iron aluminium discs you'll find on a GT3, and 28 millimetres larger than the GT4's discs. Also the same as the GT3's are the rear 380 millimetre discs. Excess air pressure is released through these slats that are cut into the front wheel arch. And there are no side rear windows. They've been knocked out and replaced with these giant ducts which feed the engine air like a baby prehistoric bird as it screams for more in your ear. The GT4 RS only weighs 1,415 kilograms thanks to that carbon bonnet. There's a rear window made of lightweight glass. The annoyingly heavy insulation material has been taken out, and there's even been lighter weight carpet used inside. Our car is fitted with the optional Weissach pack, which adds a carbon weave finish to the bonnet and the rear wing and the side air ducts. It also brings these titanium tailpipes and these 20-inch forged magnesium wheels. Inside there are 2 carbon fibre race seats, and the Weissach pack adds a titanium roll cage in the rear, a 6-point harness and leather and Racetex upholstery.
Look, despite all this lovely leather, the cockpit is a pretty basic place. The media screen is tiny by other Porsche standards. The gauges are analog. There are no buttons on the steering wheel, and I've got these straps as door handles. And I love it because this car isn't about looks. It's about performance. So yes, I'm absolutely fine with a cabin that looks a little bit basic because, as I said, it's not about looks. It is completely about performance. The GT4 RS is up there with one of the best sports cars that Porsche has ever made. It's brutal. Maybe too brutal for daily use, driving it through Sydney today in peak hour traffic. The ride, even on the softer suspension setting, is hard. I don't know whether I could live with that day in, day out. But the flip side to that is handling that is absolutely precise. Absolutely laser precise. Now the steering is very light, maybe a little bit too light for me anyway. I find it I like a little bit more weight in my steering, but at the same time, my God, the feedback that is coming from that steering is absolutely outstanding. A complete beast to drive, mid-engine, so it's just so well balanced. The grip is phenomenal. It's planted better than a tree. It truly is a magnificent Franken Cayman, and thank God it happened. Thank God it happened. Now what about fuel economy? What about fuel economy? Seriously, if you're asking, then maybe you should be looking at a Porsche Taycan, an electric Porsche. But I'm telling you right now, I've driven the Taycan, and it might be as quick as this, but it isn't as fun as this. There's no sound in the Taycan. It's fully electric. This soundtrack is a symphony. Oh, God. Seriously though, if you do want to know about fuel economy, Porsche say you should be getting about 12.7 litres per 100 kilometres. That's with a combined driving. So look, roads like these country roads, but also mixed in with, the daily commute, urban driving, that type of thing. Now on your screen, you can see what we got when we tested this car. And we really did test it under all the conditions you probably will drive it in, from city commutes like we did this morning to country road blasts like we're having now. Okay, now
just want to talk to you about these seats. They are amazing. If you're worried about legroom and comfort and whether you're going to fit into them, that's a really good thing to be concerned about. Just for your point of reference, I'm 191 centimeters tall, pretty tall. I weigh about 90 kilos. That's not too light either. These seats fit me perfectly. Snug as a bug. I wouldn't want to be much larger. I did have a mate in them the other day. He was a little bit bigger than me, and I think it was a bit squashy. Legroom though, there's plenty, and you do have a bit of adjustment. Actually, you can go back for even further, which is brilliant. So if you have stilts like me, you'll be okay. Now, in terms of cabin storage, look, there isn't any. Not really. You've got these nets in the doors, which are really only good enough for a wallet or a phone. You've got this center console bin here, which is so tiny, like literally a hot cross bun. That's how big it is. I'm gonna have that later. Your best storage place is the glove box. Actually, that's a lot of room. It's actually a big glove box. But that really is it. Now, let me show you the boots. There's one there and one there. You can actually open them like this. That's the back, and that's the front. Yeah, getting out. You are pretty low, and if you're tall like me, handbrake on, it can be a bit awkward. It's a little bit undignified. You don't have to do it like that. Back boot. Now, look at the size of this fixed wing, carbon fiber. It's like an ironing board. It's brilliant. Lift that up, the whole wing goes up. You've got a decent sized boot there. There is the engine, the little roll cage as well. Yeah, very decent boot. Couple of bags in there, no worries at all. Around the front, we have another boot, the front boot. That is a decent sized boot as well. I mean, look, I could probably fit inside it if I tried. In fact, I can, like that. Oh, here we go. I'm a little bit aware that I'm actually now standing on top of what is pretty much a $400,000 car. Do you want to talk about price? Let's talk about price. Now, the 718 Cayman GT4 RS lists for $311,900. And with all the options that this car's got on it, it comes to just over $350,000. But a 911 GT3 lists for $388,600. About $70,000 more than this. So what do? Do you go the GT4 RS or do you get a 911 GT3? It's up to you. It's a difficult decision to make. While you're thinking about that, here's what comes as standard on the GT4 RS. Coming standard are LED headlights and taillights. The carbon bonnet and the big carbon rear wing are also standard. The large front apron and the spoiler lip with the GT4 RS logo is also standard. Plus there's a lightweight stainless steel exhaust system too. Coming standard inside are carbon fiber bucket seats, dual zone climate control and RS steering wheel with Racetex upholstery and carbon fiber trim throughout. There's the rather small media display right there, but that comes with sat-nav and Apple CarPlay, and a Bose sound system is also a non-cost option too. The Visac pack, which I showed you earlier, costs $33,210, and the lift system for the front axle, which I really recommend you get, is $4,900. No advanced safety tech on board the GT4 RS. That means no AEB, no lane keeping assistance, and no blind spot warning. This is truly a race car. You'll be happy to know that there are full-sized front airbags for the driver and co-pilot. They also both have thorax airbags and head airbags too. The 718 Cayman GT4 RS is covered by a 3-year unlimited kilometre warranty, and servicing is needed every 12 months or 15,000 kilometres. The 718 Cayman GT4 RS is a car that wants to live at a racetrack. And if you're lucky enough to own one, if you do buy one, please promise me you'll occasionally set it free at a track.
That's where it's most at home, and that's where you can completely unlock its true capabilities. Could you live with it daily? Look, you could live with anything daily, depending on how much you like torture. It is really brutal on city roads. And this morning, driving it through, morning peak hour traffic on bad Sydney roads was pretty brutal. I'm not sure I could do that day in, day out. No. But at the same time, it's a magnificent car. Absolutely magnificent. Would you get it over a 911 GT3? Remember, there's really not much of a price difference. My goodness. Look, I think Porsche makes their 911 GT3 just that much better than a GT4 RS. They have to. The 911 GT3 is the king. It's iconic. It's a legend. This could never be better than it. But it comes pretty bloody close. Yep. This is one of the best Porsches Porsche has ever made.